My name is Sophia, and today we are going to talk about something very important for anyone who is learning English, improving English, or just trying to speak with more confidence. The topic is how to test your English. Now, this is not just about taking one grammar quiz and saying, okay, I know English. No, real English is much bigger than that. English is not only about memorizing rules, it is about speaking clearly, understanding real conversations, reading naturally, writing properly, and using the language in real life. That is exactly what we are going to explore today. If you have ever wondered, is my English good enough? How can I check my English level? Do I sound natural? Can I understand native speakers? Am I weak in grammar, vocabulary, or pronunciation? Then this video is for you. And because I want this video to feel real, practical, and useful, I will guide you like I am sitting with you and helping you test your English step by step. So stay with me, because by the end of this video, you will know how to test your English in a smart way, how to find your weak points, and how to improve faster. Let's begin. English is used everywhere. In the United States, people use English every day in schools, offices, airports, restaurants, hospitals, stores, and even in simple daily conversations. If you walk in New York City, people use English to ask for directions, order coffee, talk on the subway, or speak in a business meeting. In Los Angeles, English is used in entertainment, work, and everyday life. In Chicago, people use English in schools, business centers, and neighborhoods. In Houston, Miami, Boston, Seattle, and Atlanta, English is the key to communication in almost every part of daily life. So when you test your English, you are not just testing school knowledge. You are testing your ability to live, communicate, and connect in the real world. And that is powerful. Now, let us talk about the first thing you need to understand. What does it mean to test your English? Testing your English means checking how well you can use the language in different areas. There are several parts of English. You need to know how to listen and understand what people are saying. You need to know how to speak with confidence. You need to know how to read English text. You need to know how to write clearly. You need to understand grammar. You need to build vocabulary. You need to improve pronunciation. And you need to use all of these together in real life. A lot of learners make one big mistake. They think English is only grammar. But English is much more than grammar. A person may know all the rules, but still struggle to speak. Another person may speak well, but make many spelling mistakes. Another may read well, but not understand fast speech. So the real question is not, do I know English perfectly? The real question is, how strong am I in each part of English? That is what testing your English should help you discover. Trickwords, why testing your English is important. Testing your English helps you in many ways. First, it shows your current level. Are you a beginner, intermediate, or advanced learner? You cannot improve properly if you do not know where you are starting from. Second, it helps you find your weak areas. Maybe your grammar is okay, but your listening is weak. Maybe your reading is strong, but speaking makes you nervous. Testing reveals that. Third, it gives you direction. When you know what is weak, you can study smarter instead of harder. Fourth, it builds confidence. When you test yourself and see progress, you feel motivated. And fifth, it helps you prepare for real situations, such as job interviews, school exams, travel, moving to another country, or living in an English-speaking place like the United States, Canada, the United Kingdom, or Australia. Now, let us move into the real test areas. Trickwords, test your English. Through listening is one of the most important parts of English. If you cannot understand English when someone speaks, then conversation becomes difficult. To test your listening, play a short English video, podcast, movie clip, news report, or conversation. Listen carefully and then ask yourself, what words did I understand? Did I understand the full meaning? Did I understand the speed? Could I catch the main idea? Could I hear the difference between similar sounds? For example, in American English, people speak at different speeds depending on the place and situation. In New York, people may speak quickly in fast-paced environments. In Los Angeles, you may hear casual, relaxed speech in social conversations. In Boston, pronunciation and local style may sound different from what you hear in textbooks. If you want to test your English properly, you need to expose your ears to many kinds of English. Here's a simple listening test you can do. Listen to a short clip once without subtitles. Then listen again and write down what you hear. Then check the transcript or subtitles. Compare what you heard with the actual words. This tells you how much you catch naturally and where you miss words. If you hear only a few words and cannot understand the message, your listening needs more practice. If you understand most of it but miss some details, that is a good sign. It means you are progressing. A very useful method is to listen to American speakers in different contexts. For example, listen to a barista speaking in a coffee shop in Seattle, a student speaking at a university in Boston, a business worker speaking in Chicago, or a tourist conversation in Miami. Each one gives you a different kind of English. Testing listening is not about perfection. It is about awareness. Test your English. Through speaking is where many learners feel nervous. Maybe you understand English in your head, but when it is time to speak, your mind goes blank. That is normal. To test your speaking, try answering simple questions out loud. For example, what is your name? Where are you from? What do you do? What do you like to do on weekends? What is your favorite food? What is your dream job? How was your day? How do you spend your mornings? Then record your voice and listen carefully. Ask yourself, did I speak smoothly? Did I use correct grammar? Did I pause too much? Did I repeat words too often? Did my pronunciation sound clear? Did I sound confident? This is one of the best ways to test your English because it shows how your language works in real speech. A lot of learners can read and understand English silently, but speaking requires quick thinking. When you speak, you need grammar, vocabulary, pronunciation, and confidence all at the same time. Imagine you are in a cafe in Los Angeles and you want to order a drink. You may need to say, "Can I get a cold coffee with milk, please?" That sounds simple, but in real life, you need to say it naturally and clearly. Or imagine you are in a store in Houston and someone asks, "Can I help you?" You need to answer confidently. Or imagine you are at an airport in Atlanta or New York, and you need to ask for directions. Speaking English in these situations is practical English. So when you test your speaking, do not just focus on textbook sentences. Test real-life communication. A great speaking test is to describe a picture, describe your room, explain your routine, or talk about your city. Speak for 1 minute without stopping, then 2 minutes, then longer. This will show your fluency level. Test your English through reading. Reading tells you how well you can understand written English. You can test reading by using short articles, social media posts, news reports, signs, menus, or simple books. Read a passage and then ask, did I understand the main idea? Did I understand new words from context? Did I need to stop too many times? Could I read quickly? Could I understand the tone? Reading is useful because it helps you build vocabulary naturally. For example, if you read a news article about business in Wall Street, New York, you may learn formal English. If you read a travel blog about California, you may learn lifestyle vocabulary. If you read local stories from Texas or Florida, you may learn everyday expressions. When you test reading, try this. Read a paragraph, close the text, summarize it in your own words. If you can explain it easily, your reading comprehension is improving. If you cannot, then you may need to work on vocabulary or grammar. Reading also helps you notice sentence structure. Over time, your brain starts recognizing how English works naturally. Test your English through writing. Writing is another important part of your English level. To test your writing, take a simple topic and write a few sentences or a full paragraph. For example, write about your favorite city. Write about your family. Write about your future goals. Write about your last weekend. Write about a place you want to visit in the United States. When you write, check these things. Are my sentences complete? Did I use correct punctuation? Did I repeat words too many times? Did I use clear grammar? Is my spelling correct? Can someone understand what I wrote? Writing is a quiet test, but it reveals a lot. Sometimes a learner can speak fluently but write poorly. Sometimes someone writes carefully but cannot speak quickly. So writing is a very honest way to test your English. A helpful exercise is to write a short diary entry every day. For example, today I woke up early. I had breakfast, I studied English, I watched a video from a teacher in California, then I practiced speaking for 10 minutes. This simple habit helps you test your grammar, sentence order, and vocabulary. Test your grammar. Grammar is the structure of English. If grammar is weak, your sentences may sound confusing. But remember, grammar is only one part of English. It is important, but it is not the whole language. To test grammar, try exercises on tenses, subject-verb agreement articles like a, an, and the prepositions, pronouns, question forms, plural nouns, comparisons, conditional sentences. For example, check whether you can say, I go to school every day. She goes to work. We have been studying English. They are going to New York next week. If these structures feel difficult, that tells you what to review. Grammar tests are useful, but do not get trapped in grammar fear. Many learners think they must know every rule before speaking. That is not true. You can learn grammar step by step while speaking and writing. Test your vocabulary. Vocabulary tells you how many words and expressions you know. A person with limited vocabulary may struggle to explain ideas. A person with a strong vocabulary can speak more clearly and understand more. To test vocabulary, try these activities. Match words with meanings. Use a word in a sentence. Describe a picture using as many words as possible. Find synonyms and antonyms. Talk about your day using different expressions. For example, instead of only saying good, learn words like excellent, great, wonderful, amazing, pleasant, and positive. Instead of only saying bad, learn words like disappointing, unpleasant, difficult, frustrating, and terrible. Vocabulary is very important in the United States because everyday English includes a wide mix of formal and casual expressions. In a place like New York, you may hear business vocabulary. In Miami, you may hear conversational and travel-related phrases. In San Francisco, you may hear tech and professional vocabulary. In Dallas, you may hear practical daily speech. So the more vocabulary you know, the easier it is to adapt. One simple vocabulary test is this. Choose one topic, like food, travel, work, or family, and speak for 1 minute without repeating the same word too much. If you struggle, that means your vocabulary in that topic needs work. Test your pronunciation. Pronunciation is not about having a perfect accent. It is about being understood. You do not need to sound exactly like someone from California, Texas, or New York, but you do need to speak clearly enough that people can understand you. To test pronunciation, read aloud from a short text and record yourself. Then, listen to your voice and compare it with a native speaker if possible. Pay attention to individual sounds, word stress, sentence rhythm ending sounds, linked speech, common weak pronunciations. For example, many learners confuse ship and sheep, live and leave, or thought and taught. These small differences can change meaning. Pronunciation also matters in names and places. In the United States, people say place names in different ways, and you need to be comfortable hearing them. You may hear Los Angeles, San Diego, Phoenix, Philadelphia, Orlando, or Nashville in everyday speech, and you should be able to recognize these names quickly. A good pronunciation test is shadowing. Listen to a short sentence and repeat it exactly as you hear it. Try to copy the rhythm and tone. Test your fluency. Fluency means how smoothly you can speak. It does not mean speaking fast only. It means speaking with fewer pauses, less confusion, and more confidence. To test fluency, choose a topic and speak without stopping for 1 or 2 minutes. For example, talk about your hometown. Talk about your favorite food. Talk about a movie you enjoyed. Talk about your dream life in the United States. Talk about what you would do if you moved to New York, Texas, or California. If you stop too often, search for words too much, or lose your train of thought, then your fluency needs work. But that is okay. Fluency improves with practice. A fluent speaker is not always a perfect speaker. A fluent speaker is someone who keeps the conversation going naturally. Test your confidence. Confidence is one of the biggest parts of English. A lot of people know more English than they think, but they are afraid to use it. So test your confidence by doing something uncomfortable. Speak to a stranger. Ask a question in English. Introduce yourself. Make a short video speaking English. Join a conversation group. Read aloud in front of a mirror. Confidence grows when you use English in real life. Imagine you are visiting Chicago and asking for help at a train station. Or imagine you are in a hotel in Miami and need to speak to the front desk. Or imagine you are in a classroom in Boston and need to ask your teacher a question. These are real-life tests of confidence. When you test your English, do not only test knowledge, test your courage too. How to know your English level. Let us make this very simple. If you can understand basic words, introduce yourself, and answer very simple questions, your English may be at a beginner level. If you can have simple conversations, understand everyday topics, and write short paragraphs, your English may be intermediate. If you can speak about many topics, understand fast speech, and write clearly with fewer mistakes, your English may be advanced. But remember, a person can be advanced in one area and weak in another. For example, you may speak well but still struggle with writing, or you may read well but understand little in fast conversation. That is why a balanced test is so important. A simple self-test you can do at home. Now, I want to give you a very practical self-test. First, listen to a short English clip. Second, write down what you understood. Third, speak for 1 minute about the same topic. Fourth, read a short paragraph and summarize it. Fifth, write 5 sentences about your day. Sixth, check your grammar and vocabulary. Seventh, listen to your own speaking recording. If you can do all of these, you are already testing your English in a complete way. This kind of practice is much better than random study because it shows you the full picture. Common mistakes learners make when testing English. One mistake is testing only grammar and ignoring speaking. Another mistake is comparing yourself too much with native speakers. Another mistake is feeling ashamed of mistakes. Another mistake is giving up too early. Another mistake is studying only one part of English and neglecting the others. Remember, progress happens when you test, learn, correct, and repeat. Mistakes are not failure. Mistakes are feedback. How to improve. After testing. Once you test your English, do not stop there. Use the results. If listening is weak, listen daily. If speaking is weak, speak daily. If reading is weak, read short text daily. If writing is weak, write short paragraphs daily. If grammar is weak, study one rule at a time. If vocabulary is weak, learn words in real context. If pronunciation is weak, practice shadowing. If confidence is weak, speak even when you feel nervous. This is how real improvement happens. Final encouragement from Sophia. Let me say this clearly. Your English does not need to be perfect to be useful. You do not need a perfect accent. You do not need to know every word. You do not need to speak like a movie actor. You just need to keep improving. Every time you test your English, you learn something about yourself. Maybe you discover that your listening is better than you thought. Maybe you discover that you need more speaking practice. Maybe you realize you understand English better than you can produce it. That is all part of the journey. And if you keep practicing, your English will become stronger, smoother, and more natural. Whether you are dreaming of studying in the United States, traveling to New York, living in California, working in Texas, or just speaking English with more confidence in your daily life, remember this: English is not only a subject, it is a skill, and every skill becomes stronger with practice. Jakutsaru, outro. So that is how you can test your English in a smart, practical, and real-life way. I hope this video helped you understand your English level better and gave you a clear path to improve. My name is Sophia, and I want to thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, keep practicing, keep learning, and keep believing in yourself, because every great English speaker started exactly where you are now. You just need to take the next step.